Hi, I'm MaxPlayer1 and I've been programming for about 2 years now. I've started programming in Unity, did some Python, did some C++, and now I'm in Rust. And for all of the time I was programming, one question stuck with me, even to this day. Should you use an engine, or should you make stuff from scratch? In this video, I'm gonna try to give my perspective on it. I'm still pretty new to programming, I still haven't done many projects. So I think a beginner's perspective might be valuable for you. Oh, and also this video is audio mostly. I put some clips of me programming in the background to not bore you. I probably should put Subway Surfers gameplay, shouldn't I? But I would encourage you to watch the video just like a podcast, maybe while doing housework or something. I started taking programming seriously about 2 years ago, but I've tried it even earlier. I've used Unity at the start, but I didn't really like it. I wanted to learn programming, but I was mostly watching YouTube tutorials that were basically making games for me. And even when I stopped with tutorial hell, when I programmed in Unity, I felt kinda limited. It felt like everything was already made for me in the engine. I just had to piece it all together to make a game. For some people it's a good thing, but for me it wasn't. I wanted to program more, I wanted to know how the tools I use work, and I didn't get it with Unity. And that is why I quit using it. I've tried Python and even JavaScript, for a while, but the next chapter in my programming journey began when I saw JDH's video on making Minecraft in 48 hours and ran these devlogs on Arcane. Those videos were amazing for me. I was fascinated by this new world of C game development, where you do most stuff yourself, from scenes and graphics to logging, particles and everything. I was hooked. I started learning C with OpenGL and then C++. I started making an engine and even made a few devlogs on the channel, but the progress on it was very slow. Not really because it was hard, I was making a simple 2D game engine, but because I was fighting with myself a lot of the time. I was often asking myself why make an engine if there are much better alternatives available. I was scared that I wouldn't make an engine correctly, so I also stuck very closely to a tutorial series from Games with Gabe. And then I quit again. I started learning Rust, tried to make a Minecraft clone, failed, and recently started learning Bevy, a Rust game engine. Because, well, someone suggested that to me. It has been a month and I stopped using Bevy, and I came back to low-level programming for a few reasons. And here are the reasons. In the last few weeks, I slowly realized why I stopped using Unity all those months ago. Firstly, I want to program more. I wasn't really satisfied with my programming abilities using engines. As an example, when I was using Bevy for around a month, I was only using the most basic features of Rust. I didn't touch iterators, lifetimes, traits or anything. I feel like programming your own tools gives you more opportunities to use your language to the fullest potential. For example, today was the first time I've used traits in Rust, and I've been using the language since December. Another great thing is that I know how everything works. I'm really interested in computer graphics, so actually seeing how the GPU generates those beautiful games and images is amazing for me. And another way you can interpret this argument is that I know how my API behaves, what it can do and what it cannot do, and that's helpful. That also touches on the point that when I run into a bug, it's mostly because of the fact that my code is wrong, and not because I'm using a library incorrectly. It might be a subtle difference, but I really dislike debugging code related to some code I didn't write, and looking for solutions in docs or existing projects for that specific library. And maybe most importantly, writing the tools myself is way more fun and way more rewarding. It takes so much more time to render a cube yourself than to render it via Bevy or Unity. However, when you render the cube yourself, you'll see what goes under the hood in those engines to give programmers a smooth game-making experience. You will learn so much more, and honestly there is no better feeling than finally implementing a feature you've been working on for hours or days. I don't watch that many tutorials anymore. I try to implement stuff myself because I know I'm capable of doing most of it. My first games doesn't have to be perfect. I can improve on them over time. I'm not sure if I'm gonna stay in this low-level world forever. Right now it's great, but I don't promise that I won't try some engine or tool if I want to make a bigger game. Though I don't think my perspective will change much in the future. Well, maybe if I encounter a few pesky bugs, I might change my mind, but we'll see.